What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne, and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there, waiting to be played by you and yours.
I'm a simple man, don't wanna complication.
Hey, everybody. So, as you can see, this video is being posted on Monday, just as last week was. Now, I've been finding myself a little bit busier on Fridays and Saturdays, which is when I usually prep for our videos that we usually post on Sunday. So I've been decided to start posting content on Mondays, which grants me a lot more time, a lot less stress in trying to make sure I do a proper video for you guys. So moving forward, we're going to be posted on Monday. Now today, I want to tell you about my top 10 favorite just card games. Now what I mean by that is I want to talk about card games that have no other components than the rule book and in some instances maybe a score sheet. So certain games that we really enjoy, like No Thanks, great card game, but you won't see that on this list because it has those little resource chips. And my For Shuffle, which is one of my favorite games from 2023, you won't see that game on this list because there's that clearing board. So like I said, we're just going to talk about my top 10 favorite just card games. So without wasting any time, let's get right to it. So my number 10 and my number 9 are both games that I've just recently played. So with more plays, they might move up on the list. But right now, this is where they're at. Now my number 10 is a game that I just played with Alicia, and that is Abandon All Artichokes. Now in this game, you're trying to get rid of all artichokes in your deck. So it's a deck building, but also a deck deconstruction game. So you're going to start off with a deck of 10 artichoke cards. And you're going to draw up 5 cards from your deck. And then there's going to be a market that represents other vegetables like potatoes and broccoli and eggplant and stuff. And you're going to draw one of those cards and place it into your hand. And then you're going to play cards. Now, artichoke cards, you just can't play. But the vegetable cards, you could play them and they would give you certain powers. So like abilities or actions rather. So like if you play a broccoli card, you get to compost an artichoke card, which means take an artichoke card from your hand and place it into the common discard pile. And you get to compost an artichoke if you have at least 3 artichokes in your hand. So of course, at the beginning of the game, you have 5 artichokes. And then you can also play the potato, which lets you draw a card off the top of your deck. And if it's an artichoke, you compost it. If it's not an artichoke, then you place it in your personal discard pile. And then the onion allows you to just compost an artichoke, but then you got to place that onion card on top of another player's deck. And so like I said, these vegetables give you different actions. And they give you different ways of trying to get rid of artichokes from your deck. And so whenever a player, like at the end of the turn, once you stop playing cards, you discard the cards that's in your hand, and then you draw back up to 5 cards. And if you draw back up when you draw back up to 5 cards and none of those cards are artichokes, then you immediately win the game. Now, I really enjoyed the plays. We played this a couple of times, and I really enjoyed this game. 1, because it's based on food, and 2, I love that reveal. Like when you draw back up, and if there's 1 artichoke in your hand, you're like, oh man, come on, so it got to go another round. So that reveal of when you draw your 5 cards, if there's no artichokes in your hand, you immediately win the game. This is a great lightweight family game, easy to teach, and I'm thinking with more plays, it might move up my list. But we'll see once I tell you what the rest of them are. So, like I said, my number 10 and my number 9 are both games that I've recently just played for the first time. So, my number 9 is this game right here, That's Not a Hat. Now, both 10 and 9, they only got cards and the rule book. That's it. Now, I first heard about this game through the Nick and Mike, the brothers Murph, over on their YouTube channel, and they really speak highly of this game. And then I got introduced to it by my friend Ryan. And I kept thinking about it, so I picked up a copy because one, it's a pretty cheap game, not high in price. And I figured, I'm always on the hunt for simple card games to introduce to people, And so in this game, every person is going to have an item. All the cards are different items. So there might be a toaster, a teddy bear, a hat, and they're going to have it face up in front of them. And so the starting player is going to draw a card from the face up pile, and let's say it's a hammer, and they're going to flip that card face down. And then based on the arrow on the back of the card, they're either going to pass it to the player on their left or pass it to the player on their right. And they're going to say, here's a hammer. And then that player is going to say, thank you. But now, since they received the gift, now they have to give a gift. But they can't re-gift the gift you just gave them. So they have to take the item that's in front of them and they flip it face down. And based on the arrow, they pass it to that player and say, here, have a teddy bear. Now, once a card is flipped face down, they stay face down. And it gets to a point where all the cards are face down. But now you're trying to keep up of where the items are. So if I have a card and I say, and I don't know what this card, I don't remember what this card is, but I can try to bluff my way and say, here, have a hammer. So that player can either accept it or they can say, call my bluff and say, that's not a hammer. And so then we reveal that card. And if it is the hammer, they take that card as a penalty point. If it's not a hammer, let's say it was the toaster, then the player that passed that card has to take that card as a penalty point. And the game is going to continue like that until one player has 3 penalty cards. And then once that ends that game, and whoever has the lowest penalty points will win. Now, it's better to play this game in multiple rounds, because let's say you play it 3 rounds, and then at the end of 3 rounds, whoever has the less penalty points wins the game. This is a really, really easy game. Like I said, it's not high in price. And I love this game because I love the interaction between the players, especially when you're trying to bluff and then they call you on your bluff, their facial expressions and stuff. And this helps me because, I'm getting up there in age, so I got to keep my memory, strong. So I really enjoyed this game. And like I said, with more plays, this game might just move up my list. But like I said, it's just cards in this box. All right, on to number 8. So sitting at number 8 is a game that I did a Kickstarter preview some years ago. And I still really enjoy this game. This is a fun, really easy to learn game. And that game is called Doomlings. So in Doomlings, we are preparing for the end of the world. We have a hand of trait cards, and then we also have a card in front of us that's going to be known as our gene pool, and that dictates how many trait cards we can have in our hand. And then in the middle of the table, there's going to be a deck to draw from, and then there's going to be a deck with age cards, which represents what age we're playing in, but there are also going to be catastrophe cards shuffled up in there. And so starting with the first player, they're going to reveal the age card. And then that age card might give us a special ability that allows us to draw some cards. or it might make it where we can't play blue trade cards, or it might change our gene pool. And then players are going to play a trait card in front of them that's going to score them points at the end of the game. But then they draw a card. They stabilize rather. So if your gene pool is at 5 and you have 3 cards in your hand, you stabilize and you draw 2 cards. And then once everybody has taken a turn, then we reveal the next card. And if there's a catastrophe card, something might happen. Something bad really bad will happen. And so the game continues until the 3rd catastrophe card is drawn. And then everybody's going to count up their points. Now, what I really love about this game is, first of all, the art on the age and the catastrophe cards is beautiful. It's like a simple color scheme, but it is very, very beautiful. And then the other thing I like is the trait cards, because they got these little sayings on the trait cards. And whenever I play, I say, hey, when you play a trait card, you gotta say that little quirk that's on the card. And like I said, it's a really simple game to teach, really simple game to get into. And like I said, I'm always looking for games to introduce to a lot of people. So that's Doomlings. So number 7 is a very beautiful trick-taking game called Seas of Strife. So I learned about this game from Amy and Maggie over on their YouTube channel, Thinker Themer. And the first thing that really attracted me to this game is just the art. It's Beth Sobel art. And like I said, Beth Sobel her art just adds so much to a board game. Now, like I said, this is a trick-taking game, but usually in a trick-taking game, you're trying to win the most tricks. In this one, you're trying to lose the least tricks. And so this game goes up to 6 players. And what you're doing is, just like any other trick taker, you play a card, and then all the other players have to follow suit. And so if a player doesn't have a card in that suit, they play off with a different suit. But if ever the secondary suit is equal to the number of the cards for the first suit, then whoever has the highest number on the table wins the trick. And then if that secondary suit has more cards of that suit, then that becomes the primary suit. So yeah, as you can see, it's a lot of things that can happen in this game. Now, I picked this game up because, like I said, I love spades. And I know a lot of people that play spades. So I think this would be a great game that I can introduce to people and say, hey, definitely check this game out. And like I said, Beth Sobel art really brings you in. So that's it. Seas of Strife. The game at number 6 is another game I did a Kickstarter preview video for a few years ago. And I really enjoy this card game because it's pretty much about food. And that game is Chili Mafia. So this game is a set collection game where you're trying to create gangs of chili peppers, and you're going to play them in front of you. So a gang of chili peppers have to have chili peppers of the same numerical value. I believe the numerical value is from 1 to 10, or they have to have be different numerical values. So you can't have a gang with 2 2s and a 3, 4, 5. One of them 2s can't be in there. And so there are other cards, like there's the action cards that allow you to draw cards from the top of the deck or randomly take cards from another player's hand. But then there's these hot cards that has you messing with everybody else's chili pepper gang, like whack or whack 'em. You get to eliminate and peppers from their gang and place them in the discard pile, which means that gang might not be a gang anymore because you have to have at least 3 chili peppers to make up a gang. And then there's another card called Pinch, which means you get to eliminate one of the chili peppers and place it in the middle of the deck. So that means they done went to jail for a little while, so they'll be showing back up. And then there's Turncoat, which allows you to take a chili pepper from somebody's gang and add it to your gang. But there's one action card that says forget about it, which means it negates. If somebody tries to play a hot card on you, you can forget about it and play that card to negate that. So I really, really like I love the quirky art that's on the cards. I love the fact that they got all these different peppers. Like they got the ghost pepper, they got the jalapeno, they got the poblano, which is probably my favorite pepper to cook with. I love a good roasted poblano pepper. And like I said, it's centered around food. And I think this is a great party game because like this game goes up to 8 players. So it's a competitive game and you can play as teams. So you can play 4-on-4 or 3-on-3. And so, like I said, this is just a really, really cool card game to introduce to people. And like I said, ain't nothing else in the box but the rule book. So that is Chili Mafia. So now we're in the top 5. So the number 5 game on my list is a game that was sent to us for a review some time ago. And I've recently been playing a number of games of this on Board Game Arena. So I've started dabbling in Board Game Arena. And I've been playing with my friend David. And that game is Seesaw and Paper. So in Seesaw to Paper, what you're trying to do is be the first to get to 40 points. The game is going to be played over a number of rounds. And on your turn, you're going to draw 2 cards from the deck or draw a card from either one of the 2 discard piles. And you're going to place that card into your hand. And then you have the option, if you have any of the duo cards, you could play those cards in front of you. And that grants you another action. So if you play 2 of the crab cards, all the duo cards are score 1 point. But if you play the duo crab cards, then that allows you to go through either one of the discard piles and take a card from there back into your hand, or if you play the duo sailboat cards, then that allows you to take another turn immediately. But there's also the swimmer and the shark. And if you play those duo cards, then you get to steal a card from another player's hand. And so the round is going to continue like that until a player has reached 7 points. And then that player has one of 3 options. They can either just continue to play to try to get more points that they'll score in the round, or they can say stop. And if they say stop, everybody's going to reveal their cards and they're going to score the points from their cards, like their set collection, their, like I said, the duo cards and stuff. Or they could say last chance. So if they say last chance, all the other players is going to get one more turn. And then everybody's going to reveal their cards. So if the player that said last chance scored the most points in that round, they're going to get bonus points. They're going to get a color bonus, which means they're going to get 1 point for each color card that they have the most of that particular color. And then all the other players are just going to score their color bonus. They're not going to score their base cards. Now, if the player that said last chance did not get the most points, then they're going to get a penalty where they only score their color bonus, and then the other players are going to score their base cards and their color bonus. And so, like I said, you're going to play this over another rounds till the player has reached 40 points, and that player will win the game. Now, the first thing I like about this game is just the origami art. I really love the presentation of this game. The art on the cards is really, really nice. I love that push your luck. I do love that push your luck aspect of the game. Now, Alicia, she's okay with this game because I think it's just wrapping your head around when to say last chance, but I really, really do like this game, and it's just a simple game. I'm pretty sure this is probably the smallest game out of all 10 of these games. But yeah, I really, really do enjoy this game. And like I said, I've been dabbling with it on Board Game Arena, so I must really like it, because I really prefer physical copies of games, you know. But sea salt and paper, great game to have. So the number 4 game on this list is a game that Alicia, I think this is probably Alicia's favorite game on this list. And I would agree, because this is a great game to introduce to people. And that is Point Solid. Now in Point Solid, we're pretty much on the table. There's a market of vegetables, and then on the back of those cards, there are scoring opportunities. So like, you might have a card that says you'll score 2 points for every carrot, 2 points for every cabbage, but you might lose 3 points for every tomato, you know, that's in front of you. So on your turn, you're either going to draw 2 cards from the market, or you're going to take one of those scoring opportunity cards, and you're going to place it in front of you. So it's pretty much another set collection game. But like I said, the way you store points could change. And it's not a long game. This is a straight filler game. But I really, really, really enjoy this game. You know, I love like the fact that if you get one of those scoring opportunity cards, but you have the option to flip it over. You might say like, it might score you, like I said, -3 points for cabbage, which you might be ending up with a lot of cabbages. So you say, you know what, I'm just gonna flip that over, you know. But like I said, you cannot flip a vegetable card to the scoring side, you know. And this game goes up to 6 players also. But it's just really, really cool, like another game centered around food. So right now you got Abandon All Artichokes, Chili Mafia, and Point Solid. So you know I love my food games. And like I said, just cards and the rule book. So yeah, that's number 4, Point Solid. So sitting at number 3 is a solo trick-taking game. It's called For Northwood. I mean, that's the only way I can say the name of this game. Because I really, really enjoyed this game. Now, I first heard about this game from Michelle and Billy over on their YouTube channel, Second Star to the Left. And I kickstarted this game. And because I was like, how do you do a solo trick-taking game? And they figured it out, you know. And so in this game, pretty much what you're trying to do is win the favor of these 8 different kings or queens, you know. And their position on these, you randomly place them out in their kingdom, which is known as fiefs. And they're numbered 1 through 8. So you decide which kingdom or fief rather, that you're going to visit, and you're going to have some dialogue, some communication, which is pretty much trying to win the tricks. Now, based on the number of that fief, like if you're at fief 6, then you have to win exactly 6 tricks, and each of the kings or queens have a value, not a value, a suit rather, and that is the trump suit for that round. And so you're drawing a card from the deck, and then you're going to draw 8 cards into your hand, and then you're drawing a card from the deck, and you're trying to win that trick. And like I said, you have to win that exact number of tricks. Now, you start the game with 4 allies, and they give you special abilities that you use once per round. Now, if you are able to win that exact number of tricks, then that ally, you won the favor of that king or queen, and you get to shout for Northwood, and you bring down that king or queen is now an ally of yours. And so they also have special abilities that can help you in later rounds, and you're trying to win a certain number of points in order to win the game. Now, the first thing I have to say is the art in this game is so cute. I love the little quirky, I know I've used that word before, but I love the quirky cuteness of these different animals. And I love the fact that the game doesn't last long. When I'm going to a board game meetup, and I know that I'm gonna be late or something like that, sometimes I'll take this game with me. So if I have to wait, and I could play a quick solo game of this. And now they're over there wondering why I'm shouting for Northwood. So this is a really, really cool game, and it just amazes me how they figured out how to pull off a solo trick-taking game. And that's for Northwood. So the number 2 game on this list is a game that I've been screaming about, that I've been cheering about, and that is this game here, Trio. Now, I talk about this game a lot, so I'm not going to spend too much time telling you about what this game is about, but what I am going to tell you is about an experience that I had. Like, I taught this game at a local board game meetup, and there was this young man who, was watching. I asked him, hey, did you want to join in? And he joined in, and it took him a minute to try to figure out, like, one, once you cannot rearrange your hand. Once you're going to arrange your hand from lowest to highest value. And then the only thing you're going to do is ask a person to play your lowest or your highest card. That's all you can do. You can only play those. And it took him a moment to try to wrap his head around it, But there was this one round when it came to his turn, and I just saw the light bulb pop on. And he was like, wait a minute. He asked the player, play your highest card, and it was an 8. And then he looked at another player and said, play your highest card, and it was an 8. And then he reached in the middle of the table, and he remembered where the other 8 was. And when he flipped it over, he was just so ecstatic because he was like, I got it. And I just really, like, we were giving each other dabs and all that because I was just happy for him. And I think he won that round. He ended up winning that particular game, rather. And it was just, I was so happy for him because, I had to go with him over, like, say, hey, you want to get in? And he was just a little bit leery of whether or not he was going to get it. But he got it. And that's what I really like about Trio. It's just a basic memory game. You're trying to get a set, 3 different sets of numbers. And like I said, there are other ways to win. But I love this game. I champion this game, Trio. And like I said, this game is one of the games we're giving away next week, actually. And like I said, I love this game so much that I went and got the original copy, Nana, So that's Trio. Now you're thinking like, okay, what could be your number 1 game if you champion Trio so much? Well, we're about to see. So my number 1 game that is just cards is probably the one game that has the most complexity, in my opinion. And that is this game right here, Wind the Film. So I was introduced to this game by one of my friends in my board game group, Ralph. He had brought the other copy, the rescanned photograph. And the first time I played it, I did not do well at all. But I was like, I want to play it again. I want to try to figure out this puzzle. And I played it we played it like maybe 3 more times, and I still didn't do well. But I was like, I want to figure out this puzzle. And so I hunted it down. I actually bought it online through Amazon, I believe. And then I saw the reskin out in the wilds, so I picked up Photograph also. And so in this game, you are trying to create a set of film, the cards, and you're placing them in order to create your film. And so when you get dealt your cards, you cannot rearrange your hand, just like in Trio. But on your turn, you're going to draw cards from the middle of the table, and you're going to draw them from these particular ends. You can't just draw them from anywhere. You have to draw them from the right end or the left end, and then you draw cards moving in. And so you're going to draw 1, 2, or 3 cards. You're going to draw them one at a time, and you're going to insert them into the right side of your hand. And then you have to wind the fill, which means you take a card and you move it to the right. Now, the only card you can't move to the right is the one furthest right. But so you're going to take a card and move it to the right, and then you have to play the same number of cards out in front of you on the table as you drew. So if you drew 3 cards, you have to play 3 cards. Now, the cards come in 7 different colors, and they're numbered 1 through 12. So once you play a certain color, like if you play red, then you cannot start another set of red. That's the only set of reds you can have. So like I said, let's say you played a red 5. Then you have to decide whenever you play another red card, you're either going to play in descending or ascending order in that set. And so, like, let's just say you play the red 5, so you either can play the 4, 3, 2 in descending or the 6, 7, 8 in ascending. So, and you're trying to keep it within either of those ranges. And once you choose that range, you have to, like if I choose descending, I have to continue to go descending. Now, if I let's say I just chose to go ascending, and I had the 5 and the 6, and then I had an 11. That 11 is not within range of that 6, because the range would be 7, 8, 9. So I would end up playing that card face down, so that card is now out of focus, and that's going to score me negative points. So like I said, I'm trying to get one of 7, like the 7 different colors in front of me, but it's just playing those cards in order, trying to match up those numbers within the range. Now, I don't know if I explained that well, but like I said, I've championed this game. Now, like I said, I picked up a copy of Photograph. I played it with some people, and I've given them the copy because I had Wind the Film. And I've just been like, here, check this out. Check this out. I really love the complexity that this game provides. And I think this is the only game that, like I said, it has a score sheet, but the score sheet is not part that you don't need the score sheet to actually play the game. So I still consider it just cards. And so that's Wind the Film. So there you have it. 10 just card games that I really enjoy, Now, if there's some that I've missed or some that you would consider your favorite just card games, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what those games are. Now, I hope you really, really enjoyed this video because I've been wanting to do this one. Now, remember, we are running a contest, and we're giving away 2 of the games that was on this list. That's Not a Hat and Trio. A copy of That's Not a Hat and a copy of Trio. But we're also giving away a copy of Point City, which of course I couldn't put on this list because it has those tokens, those money tokens. And then we're giving away a copy of Deep Dive to celebrate our 4-year anniversary doing YouTube content. So, like I said, in the in the comments below, put down hashtag 4-year anniversary, and you'll be entered into the contest. The contest is strictly for US and Canada only. You have up to the 25th, which is Wednesday, I believe. Also, I'm still looking for some questions. We decided to, we're doing something special, but we're also going to answer do a little Q&A. So you have some questions to ask us, feel free. You can leave them in the comments below, or you can also email at the email at the bottom right now, and just let me know. And I can take those questions all the way up to the 27th. I think it's 27th. Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, let us know And we'll probably try to post a video on Sunday. You know, this will be the last Sunday video that we do. But if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm Dwayne. This has been Blackboard Gaming, and we will see you next time.